we watched Square Enix just now.
Yes, we did.
Their press event, their first press event they've had in years and years. Like they had one at my first E3, I think, which would have been like 2004, and I don't know if they've had one since then.
We went to one, a mini one for Kingdom Hearts 3 and Final Fantasy 15 when it became, but wasn't an actual like conference like this one.
Yeah, this is their first like big formal press conference, and I think that I think that we saw why. I mean, they
knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
like
they had a lot of good stuff to show.
I mean, they're balanced on both ends. I think what really surprised me with it was almost every game they showed I wanted to play. There wasn't very many that I was like, But to say the least, it feels like Square gets it a bit that they need to show a lot, and I like that they seem very dedicated to supporting not even like just the Western side, but the Japanese RPGs are coming back.
Yeah,
and that's really exciting. But one thing surprised me is that they didn't show anything of Final Fantasy 15, and I don't know if they're waiting for maybe Gamescom for that. Or what? Or they just figured we got the demo, so...
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I think, anyway, that the rationale behind that is the fact that, they did just update the demo. People have been playing it. It's like that's... The proof is kind of in the pudding there already in terms of their commitment to it.
Very smart with the Kingdom Hearts 3. All right, let's just get right to it. Come on now.
Hold on.
Come on, Joe.
Well, I wanna talk about something about it first, though, and that's like to contrast. We'll get into Kingdom Hearts, Kim. You got to keep your Kingdom Hearts pants on. So, previous E3s, like one of the things Square is sort of infamous for, anyway, is just like having one big trailer reel, and that's kind of the most content we get out of them. They don't usually have these big events or anything like that. So I think just as a general whole for this press conference, one of the things that was very important is the fact that like not only are they having a lot of games to show, but in many cases they're doing more than just like, here's a quick trailer. We're not really going to talk about it a whole lot. And it's not sort of the like, well, this is a trailer just recut from the last trailer you saw.
Yeah, that looks really good. And freaking yes on the Kingdom Hearts. Like, here's the thing, guys. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think a trailer was happening. I was hopeful. I always have hope, which Joe always laughs at me for, because usually I don't get what I hope for.
I should also clarify, it's not just Kim saying like, boy, I hope there's a Kingdom Hearts trailer. It's like her making plans around there being a Kingdom Hearts trailer.
Okay, here's what I'm saying.
When it's not going to happen.
I've skipped out of E3. Like, I've been like, I just have to go to E3 because what if they have it? Even though I know they're not, but...
Yeah, I've not seen anything quite like it, where as that was playing, Kim was just like, with like this smile plastered on her face and just staring unblinking at the screen.
Yeah.
And squealing when the teacup showed up.
Yes. Well, it's cute. I like the Disney attractions, and I remember I talked to, I did a preview for the issue, and I got to talk to Nomura, and he was actually like very tight-lipped about, he wasn't sure how the attractions were going to play out more, so if they were going to be a special attack or what, and to kind of see that actually in the trailer again, that they've stuck with the attractions, which I liked, and then see that Keyblade kind of morph, which they had shown us that it was going to go into the guns. But I still think that all that stuff, just that trailer cemented that all of this is badass, and that's what I wanted, right?
Yeah. I think it's definitely showing a little more like versatility to the combat that people have been
and I
looking for.
definitely want to see. They were trying to keep those worlds under wraps, so obviously they weren't showing very many, but still excited about all that. And to say, I guess we should talk a little bit about the Western stuff.
Well, we'll
Whoa,
get to
Joe! Wow, he always makes fun of me. He's like,
well, I mean, I feel like we're sort of on the JRPG kick right now, and there's still more to talk about on that front. For instance, Kingdom Hearts Unchained. What do you think about that?
I said this when we were watching. I just don't play much on mobile.
Okay.
So I think it looked okay. But to me, that's not kind of what. Again, Square's doing this is gonna lead into 3, and I'm kind of at the point now where I'm exhausted on that angle.
Because they do that so much.
Yes.
At this point, there are 2 main Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah.
And then just this.
Yeah, and that's what I think
of peripheral stuff.
Well, I mean, you saw my face. Well, plus they did it be like they made me think it was going to be 3, and then it wasn't. But even just in that, I think at this point I can't be it's so hard to get excited for just another game that's going to leave you with like a little piece of the puzzle, no matter how big they say it is. Sometimes it's like I could watch the trailer, like someone's going to YouTube capture it, and I'll be fine.
Yeah. And moving over to the Final Fantasy side of things, they showed once again the trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yes. Nothing new there.
We saw, which there wasn't anything new apart from the fact that we're going to learn more about the remake coming this winter. So beyond that, I guess we just sort of have to sit tight until then. But it seems, I mean, from what we saw, it seemed still like very early in development. Like
I was sad they said winter. I was hoping maybe TGS more. That might, even.
Oh, are you looking forward to TGS? Would you like more to? Okay. So there's that. There's also the fact that the Final Fantasy VII like remaster or whatever that was supposed to be coming out on PSN is now not coming out recently like it was supposed to, but that is also holding off until winter. And Final Fantasy Worlds?
Yeah.
Or World? What was it? They also showed that as like a Final Fantasy game that uses a lot of the familiar characters. You see like the chocobos and magic
honestly, I forgot about that till you just said it. So it really, I don't know what to make of that. I have a feeling that something like that would be at TGS, and I probably will have impressions.
Yeah. Because and that's the sort of thing. It seems like it's
like
made
a smaller. Yeah.
It's made to sort of represent the Final Fantasy brand, but at the same time be more accessible to people, which means that it's, if you're a sort of long-standing fan and are into the more like, I would say more traditional JRPG mechanics, this is probably not right up your alley, but I mean, it's still like the art style looks good. We were talking during the Nintendo press conference about how important it is these days to have like a
good art
an
style.
Interesting art style, and at least it has that going for it. So we have to see more of it before we can really say what's what.
And I guess Star Ocean.
Star Ocean is the other big one. Star Ocean, Integrity and Faithlessness.
I just hate these subtitles. Nothing about that trailer, I'll admit, was really wow-worthy per se.
No.
But it still looks... But it kind of just captures like the essence of just that of a classic JRPG, which I hope they kind of do some twists on it and make it interesting. I also hope for sure this time around the characters are better.
The last one had
the last one was
lame
not
old.
Good for that. But I'm just excited they're showing it. I'm excited that it's coming out soon in Japan. And we have like 2000. I'm telling you, the rest of this year to 20, like everything that's scheduled for 2016, and I know there will be delays, but like I'm just like really excited for games right now.
Yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
like there is so much coming, and it's just like I just don't know how I'm gonna play it all, but I guess I'm gonna have to find a way.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that E3 does every year. That for me anyway, that I always enjoy is that like I like games all the time, but coming out of E3, I always feel torn in like 10 different directions of like, man, I want to play that, and I want to replay that, and I want to try, you just feel like a kid in a candy store almost. So overall, before we move on to the Western stuff, on the JRPG side of things, it's safe to say that I think Kim and I are pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Life is good.
Life is good. Some of that stuff, still a little early. Like, near in Final Fantasy, there's still going to be, I'm really hoping we don't have kind of like what we're experiencing with Kingdom Hearts, where they announced it years and years early, and now we're just sort of like, I want to play it.
And let's speak to the fact that still not even a year put on Kingdom Hearts for release. That's
exactly.
troubling in itself. But just to kind of play off that, like I hope we're not waiting long on these. Like I said, that's why it was reassuring. Where like Star Ocean is almost done.
Yeah, I was thinking with regards to the Final Fantasy remake, is that if they were to release that in 2017. That would be 20 years.
Oh, that is a good point.
And
you did the math.
And it would also explain, because like right now, release dates that people are showing are all like 2016, right? If you say 2017, people get mad because that's just so far off in the future. And it's like, why are you showing us this? So maybe they just didn't put a date. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, that's a good point.
Anyway.
We'll see if Joe's right. And if he is wrong, remember it. Tell him it, because he deserves to hear it more often.
That's not true, and I suggest you use the hashtag Joe was right for all of your tweets today.
God.
Okay, so we can move on. JRPG side, Kim and I are both very happy.
I'm also happy on the Western side.
Western side also looks
Yeah,
pretty good.
what the heck is going on here? I've never seen Square come out with this strong of a lineup and balanced out, and you're just like, dang, because think about it, they didn't even need to go for Dragon Quest Heroes in that at all to try to lever. Oh, we got something. So now going to the Western side, even I'm excited about everything there. I mean, I played Just Cause 3 at the pre-E3 event and fell in love with it just because of not only because you just blow everything up, that's their philosophy with everything, but the game just fosters this creativity where your mind you don't even know what you can really do in that world. And they just kind of threw us into a demo, and I was just walking around doing everything. I just randomly pulled a tractor into the world, and I was just making wheelies around the field, and I told you I was making every character hit their hands and their feet. That stuff is just fun. Okay, I like that this world is so ridiculous yet still grounded in some weird reality. A place like this could never exist, and at the same time it's but what if it could? And let's just go crazy and have no limits to what it feels that you can do in that game. It's crazy hooking 3 helicopters together. It's just, I love it all.
And that's something the series has specialized in. I remember, especially with Just Cause 2, people just talking about all of the crazy stuff you can do in that game. Just all, hooking onto this thing and explosives on that thing and all of that.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're definitely continuing this tradition of sort of directed chaos a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to see more too, stay tuned because I'm going to have a preview up for that later today. And we got a release for that too.
Looks like December 1st.
Yeah, I'm surprised with how many games are coming out in December. Usually that is a vacant month for us, and I feel like all of a sudden these games just kind of slipped into there. And there's tons in November as always, but it's just going to be a busy end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. We saw Hitman.
Yeah, which for the first time, I'm interested in the Hitman series. I don't know. I have been and haven't, and I haven't really tried much of them, to be honest. But I like the freaking locales of that game.
It seems interesting. The thing that I'm wondering about it is it seems like they're trying a little bit of a different approach to the way the content is rolled out. So whether or not I'm curious to hear more details about the way that works, because it seems like you get a certain amount of locations at the start, a certain number of missions, and you sort of have to keep stay plugged into it, come back and play it, day after day or week after week or whatever to sort of experience some of that new content.
But that's how you get your money's worth. So.
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of reminds me, I was saying this on the stream for EA. It's like a sports game. That game stays in my system almost all year, and I kind of like when games give you incentive to be on it. But if they give you enough content to begin with, will also be
I think
the hard thing to know.
Yeah, that's the trick is drawing people in with stuff that's compelling, and then keeping them with a string of compelling stuff. Versus, I think that you run into a problem as if it's you get 2 maps when you start, and then who's gonna stay on, and if no one stays on, that content falls out. If it sells 100,000 copies, they're not going to keep throwing all of that support behind it.
Yeah.
So then that's a problem.
At least we know Tomb Raider is coming out soon.
Yep.
Yeah, November.
Yep.
And that footage has all looked good, which is, I always find it reassuring when a game is in the later stages and we're seeing more than just a few scenes. And we got extensive look at that yesterday, and then more detail today on that. What am I going to say? I enjoyed the first one. I wasn't entirely impressed with the story in that, in a way, because I wanted a little more for how they built up that they were going to, make this a more personal story for her, and you were going to really find out more about her. It ended a little not as, I guess I thought it could have been more ambitious with what it did.
I actually have to admit, I haven't gotten around to playing that one yet.
Oh, Joe.
What?
It's great.
There's lots of stuff out there.
You like the Uncharted series.
I really do. Yep.
Yeah, and the gameplay very much mimics that. So I think you would like it. Even to say that it's fun.
The weird thing for me is that I never had a lot of interest in like Tomb Raider in its old incarnation. I played a little bit of those here and there, and I just didn't particularly like it.
And I think that's what I was thinking.
The idea, I'm sorry, just real like the idea of like, oh, well now we're gonna take this character that I was never really interested in before and totally redefine her. Sort of like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I think too. I was thinking about that during the conference. Like, I'm like, they're doing a good job with this reboot. Like to go through with it. Like, I honestly think I've been more engaged with Tomb Raider because of the way that things are playing out. Like I played the early ones. And, she'll always be an iconic character for me, just even though she really didn't have much, but just being a female lead. And that was something that I looked. But going through and playing now Tomb Raider and then seeing more of this, I'm like, I'm glad they kind of went out on the route that they did. And I hope they kind of stick to it. And I think the game looks great. So.
Yeah. And Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Which I'm super excited for. I loved Human Revolution. I know it wasn't for everyone, but I really liked it. I mean,
and it seems like they know the things that maybe didn't go totally right in the last one. They've I mentioned the boss battles and stuff before. Seems like they're really invested in creating a world with an interesting sort of story and setting to it, right?
That's the other thing I wonder about, the ambition on that being like, oh, your story is going to play out like how different will the story
and I think that's something that especially you and I as are a lot of big RPG gamers have just been so conditioned at this point to doubt, because like they always say your choices will determine the fate of the world.
Choices will matter.
Yeah, and often that just means that you're going to get a different piece of concept art with some text on it.
Well, that's what I'm hoping is they don't go the same route. I enjoyed the different endings to last game. I didn't like how they were presented, and so I hope even they're saying your actions are going to kind of lead to one or another, and I hope that means something, because at the end, it was pretty much just pick what you want and then get the text. So I'm hoping they've learned from that and they can, really bounce off that and do something better.
Yeah, like take a recent example like The Witcher, where they were touting
that's what I said, just for the ambition of all that. Like, that's what I want to see more in games is, I know it's a pain in the butt for them to have to write all that, and it's a lot more work, but it's a lot more satisfying as a gamer to feel like you are making your mark. And there's nothing wrong too with like a linear experience. I still love those, but if you're going to make that promise, make sure you deliver on it.
I still have yet to play the game that really lives up to those, I think, what gamers have in their minds when developers promise that kind of reactivity. So maybe that's something we'll see this generation. I don't know. So with all of that stuff, I mean, I think we've got the Western side also looking good.
Yeah, I feel like I woke up this morning, I was just like, nothing's going to really top anything from yesterday. Like, Sony, I really liked what Sony did. I thought Microsoft did a fabulous job too. And then I come in today and I'm just like, everything is just great. I mean, today kind of catered more towards like my, JRPG,
your personal taste?
Personal taste, but even, like yesterday, tons do. Like, I don't know. As far as people know, I love my JRPGs. I do play a little bit of everything. So there's like so much that I'm excited for. Like, as we were talking about just how this show pumps you up kind of for that. Like, oh man. But I think it was reassuring to see so many listed for 2016 and, winter of fall this year. Like, I just think like we're just going to have a lot going on, and that's always a good thing as a gamer. I feel now we're seeing those games that are more devoted to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and not feeling like they have to, peel back for last generation. So, I mean, it's exciting time.
Yeah. And Kim, how about them Kamiibos?
Wait.
Hashtag Kamiibos. Don't forget to use it.
A Kamiibo parade is how I read it.
I think part of what's interesting also is for a company like Square that, over the last few years has sort of been perceived as maybe a little notoriously out of touch with how their franchises are being perceived and stuff. I think what we're seeing here is Square looking healthier than it's looked in the past, with a good slate of titles, like not only coming in 2015, things announced for 2016, and still putting those like little carrots on a stick for you to look forward to even further out in the horizon. And I feel like too,
they're more willing to kind of listen than they were before. Like before, it felt like you couldn't really express. Fans would be like, "Oh, we'll see. You wait." Now it's like they really are looking at feedback for all their games, which I just think is a big it seems like a big push now in a way that it never was before. So, well, I mean, we'll see how much that plays in and how it turns out. But I think Final Fantasy 15 is really their experiment with that.
Yeah.
And kind of how these demo updates kind of help, you know, what their feedback is from that. I mean, they're already asking for feedback for Kingdom Hearts 3. So, I mean, let's keep the ball rolling.
Yeah. And so at this phase, we haven't necessarily seen those labors bear all the fruit that they possibly
could.
But
it's nice to see them.
But it's a step in the right. It's definitely a step in the right direction. So I think, I think Kim and I we like what we saw from.
Now we
from
just
Square
need a
Enix.
new Dragon Quest announcement, and then we'll be okay.
So, here she gets a Kingdom Hearts trailer and all of this stuff, and she still wants more.
Yes, as always.
Well.
I'm greedy. What can I say?
Well, that's going to do it for us and the Square Enix post show. But thank you so much for watching and for watching our other ones. This was our last big press conference of E3 2015.
Yeah. Wow.
So keep an eye on the site for all of the big hands-on previews and stuff from the show as the week goes on. And we will we'll see you again.